Car manufacturers are always trying to create the best technologies for their vehicles, and for many years these new technologies have been improving driving quality or increasing performance. But that doesn't always mean they come up with great ideas, because they can also think of some very weird stuff to put in a car, and sometimes straight up crazy things. Chrysler turbine. Introduced in 1963, the Chrysler turbine was Chrysler's attempt to build the first turbine-powered car. According to them, it could run on anything that burns, including vegetable oil, tequila, and perfume. But the car didn't actually move with turbines like a plane. Instead, the turbine engine powered the rear wheels like a normal engine would. And even though it ran smoother than a conventional engine, since it was less moving parts, it idled at 22,000 RPMs and could reach up to 60,000 RPMs. All those revs could get you an astonishing 130 horsepower. Yeah, the car wasn't built to go fast. In fact, it did 0 to 60 in 12 long seconds. Only 55 prototypes were built for testing in Italy by a company named Ghia, and that was a problem because back then if they wanted to import back those 55 cars to America, they had to choose if they were going to pay full import duties or guarantee that they either ship them back or destroy them. Due to the enormous amount of money they had already spent on this project, they couldn't afford to pay for all of them, so they paid import duties for 10 of them, and they had to destroy the rest. There were two main reasons why this car failed. Firstly, it was incredibly expensive to manufacture, and secondly, this happened at the same time that the government started regulating the emissions of vehicles, which in a normal car could be done with a catalyst, but there wasn't anything really that could reduce the large emissions of the turbine engine. Ford Nucleon. For some reason, the time when American car brands started experimenting with alternative fuels was when gas prices were the lowest, and these alternatives were far from cheap or safe, because in 1958, Ford designed a car that would be powered by nuclear energy. Just like a nuclear plant, it had a reactor in the back that would heat the water and then turn two turbines, one to power the wheels and another one to power everything else. And if you forget about the tiny little problem that could give you cancer, it was actually a nice concept. It would run with enriched uranium and could get up to 5,000 miles before it needed to be swapped. No actual working prototype was ever built. It was based on the idea that future technology would be able to reduce the size of nuclear reactors, something that they could not achieve back then. However, with the design of new modular microreactors today, along with the current trend of looking for alternative fuels, we may have to rescue this project soon. Rocket brakes. This one didn't really go that far, thankfully. It was featured in a popular tech magazine back in 1946. The idea was to install two small rockets that would be activated in the event of an emergency stop, but no serious design or prototype was ever built. That's it. Nothing much to say about this one. The Blaster. Back in 1998, South Africans faced a serious problem: carjacking. So this man named Charles Fowry came up with a very interesting idea. He built the Blaster, also called the BMW flamethrower. Basically, he took his own BMW and installed one flamethrower on each side. The car would unleash fire when the drivers flipped a switch on the dashboard. Fowry claimed that this solution wouldn't be lethal and that it could only scare the hijackers. I mean, he has a point though. No one is just going to stand there while they're getting roasted, so I guess you could say that this is a non-lethal solution. Surprisingly, the device was legal in South Africa due to the country's self-defense laws. However, it failed to take off, and only a few hundred were sold by the time Fowry took it off the market in 2001. The Blaster piqued the interest of media across the globe when it was released, so much so that in 1999, Fowry won the IG Nobel Prize for Peace, which is a parody of the Nobel Prize for inventing an automobile burglar alarm consisting of a detection circuit and a flamethrower. Apparently, the Automobile Association of South Africa also believed the Blaster might cause hijackers to murder drivers as a precautionary measure before attempting to take the vehicle, which is pretty ironic if you think about it. Car inventions back in the day were much bolder and more exciting. Nowadays, we're just seeing the same cars being rebranded. And although those were insane and dangerous technologies, there's no denying that they've earned their place in automotive history.